Hello. Oh. Anger. Okay. Hello. Long time no see. Oh. So, we're here to do, Thea's here to help me because she's starving. And, and she's here to help me do our 10-week pregnancy update and our 6-week adoption update for her and our biological baby, which will be Irish twins. So, here we go. So, quick background, because I know we were left, last vlog, whatever, it was left in sadness from November into December. I've been keeping up with our blogs on our page, but not YouTube. So quick recap: November, October, September. Okay, so in September we were matched with a baby girl in Vermont. We went there the day she was born, visited in the hospital. She was there 3 days. At discharge, we got her. We brought her back to our Airbnb. She was with us for 8 days, and then the birth mom decided to take her back and parent. We were heartbroken, all upset, and it was a really difficult thing to come to terms with, grief, loss to get over, but we did for the most part, through a lot of friends and counseling and blogging on our blog. And we had decided to put our adoption on hold and decided we probably weren't going to adopt after all. And we'd also looked into fertility treatment and foster care and maybe adoption through that. So we decided to put our adoption on hold. That's kind of where we left off with our last vlog. So we decided to put our adoption on hold and pursue foster and possibly pursue the fertility treatments. I'd been seeing a specialist, taking hormones to try to help us conceive on our own, and help me release eggs because that was my issue. And we were told to try for a few months on our own and see what happened. So by January we decided nothing had happened. It'd been 3 or 4 months. Nothing had happened, and so we decided we would try 1 round of IUI. Most specialists suggest that you try 3 to 6. The first one doesn't usually take, and we were told that, but we were trying to check things off our list, so we said we're going to try it 1 time. If it doesn't work, then that's it. So our adoption was on hold. We decided to have 1 round of IUI treatment, intrauterine insemination, which is where the sperm is just sent through a straw, very simple, up right next to the egg, and they swim to the egg and hopefully fertilize. And as our specialist said, it probably wouldn't work on the first try. But we decided we were just going to do it once and call it quits. We also decided to finish getting our licensing done. We just needed our home inspected by the Fire and Health and for foster care, and we were looking at that as an option to foster to adopt again. We'd looked into that, which is in the previous blogs. We'd looked into that a couple of years before. We'd gone through the state classes, and all we needed was to be inspected. So we ended up, our house is inspected, or we're in a condo, and it's inspected and everything's safe by building regulations. But for the state, everything's a little bit tighter. So we'd passed everything for health, and our windows, so we got an inspection. We found out that our windows were too small for the foster care regulations by 1/4 of an inch, and it was going to be way too expensive for us to get them made bigger. So we were very disappointed about that. I was trying to find ways to extend our windows just a quarter of an inch. I wasn't coming up with anything. So mid-January we went for our IUI treatment, and the week after, exactly 1 week after, we decided that we weren't going to be able to foster. So I had been looking and looking earlier that day. I went to the fire department and tried to see if there's a way around it, and there's nothing. So we got a call from our social worker and from our adoption agency, and she said, I know you guys are on hold and you aren't looking to adopt right now. However, there's this little girl who's born, perfect situation. It's we'd met with our agency back in December and had kind of like told them our perfect situation, like if we could make it exactly how we wanted. And she fit perfectly. So we were very surprised, and everything actually expired that day that she was born, and we had to get everything done the next day, redo everything, get re-upped and re-inspected through our adoption agency, everything done, all the paperwork redone the day after for her. She was in foster care with an interim care mom is through adoption, is the foster care through adoption. So with our agency, she was with an interim care mom for a month, and then we had court where the mother, the birth mom, would terminate her parental rights willingly, and she didn't show up. We were ready to leave, and she did not show up. And we had already taken work off. They said give it 48 hours, we'll see if we can find her. They couldn't find her. We'll see if we can find her, don't go back to work, we'll see what happens. So that was Tuesday that was supposed to happen. By Thursday night, they'd found her. She was in another state. They went and got her. They brought her back here. Found her a place to stay. Brought her to court the next day. Everything was signed over, and then they brought her back to the state she was in. A week after we found out Thea was born, and we decided we were going to go ahead and adopt her. We had thought, oh, well, our IUI, we were told it more than likely wouldn't work. We decided to take a pregnancy test and found out we were actually indeed pregnant. So we talked to our agency, said, is it okay if we still move forward with this adoption? The birth mom had just said, I want her to go to the family waiting the longest. That was us, which is why our agency called us in the first place, even though we were on hold. And they said, yep, you can definitely, we feel that you've gotten over, not gotten over, but healed enough from November that we feel that you're stable enough and capable enough to parent both kids. And yes, you can still adopt Thea, even though you're pregnant. So, and it was very early, so we struggled with, do we tell the agency, do we not? We just wanted to be honest and transparent with them and not have any secrets, because even though the paperwork gets signed over, they have to come visit for the next 6 months before she's legally 100% ours. She'll be kind of like half legally ours in a month when we go to court, but then we have to go to court again in 6 months, and then she'll legally be ours 100%. But they have to come visit every other month until then. So we just wanted to be transparent because it was going to come out anyway, and we didn't want anything to ruin adopting her. We visited her at the interim care mom's house. I went 3 days a week. Brandon came 2 days a week, and she was an hour and a half away. So it was a bit of a drive, but it was worth it. So now I am 10 weeks pregnant. I decided to wait until I was 10 weeks pregnant. We did, because it was an IUI, we did get an ultrasound at 5 weeks and then again at 8 weeks. And we go back in a couple of weeks, I think at 12 or 13 weeks. And Thea is now, she just turned 6 weeks old. So when our biological baby's born, she will be 8 months and they will be brand new. So I'll do her update first. So she is now, and of course she's like, I'm starving. She is 6 weeks old. Cutest baby in the world. She can hold her head up pretty much on her own. She's starting at tummy time to push herself up, which is pretty advanced for her little age. And she's eating 4 ounces every 2.5 hours. She sleeps through the night. She gets up just for a bottle. She goes to bed, we're starting to have her go to bed around 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's been working well. She gets up around 2:33 and then takes a bottle real quick and then goes back to bed. And she doesn't get up until she'll stir at like 5:30 or 6 because that's when we get up for work. But then if it's a day we're staying home, she'll go right back to sleep and I have to wake her up, which she doesn't appreciate. She loves sleeping, she loves eating, she's smiling, making eye contact. She loves looking at the fan. She loves it, loves any stuffed animal or toy with a face. So she comes with me to work. I nanny a 5-month-old 3 days a week, and she comes with me, and she does very well. I found the adjustment has been very easy because she's easy. So yeah, it just makes it really, really nice. And we'll probably keep that up. Our contract's till June, and then we'll reassess. He might be going to daycare, or I might watch him through the rest of the summer, and then I'll stop working then. But so far, she's just been great and super easy, fun. She's almost always happy. She just gets annoyed when she gets hungry. She gets hangry. She's like me. And so she's definitely my child. We joke that she's 100% my child because she gets hangry and she loves her sleep, and I'm the exact same way. So that's her 6-week update. She grew. She was a baby. She was a really tiny newborn. She was, I think it was tiny. She was 6 pounds, 3 ounces, and then she just had her 1-month checkup last week, and so a little late. And she gained 3 pounds exactly, and she'd grown 2 inches. So she's definitely growing like a weed. She's out of pretty much all her newborn clothes, which is really sad. But she's still in 0 to 3 months. She can't really fit into 3 months yet. She's like in an awkward in between. We're going to cloth diaper. She fits into cloth diapers, but she's super awkward because they're huge on her still. Because we're just gonna do all-in-ones, and so she's indisposable for now. We were given a ton, so we're just working our way through that stash. It should last a while. She takes formula for her bottles. She does use glass bottles. I just find them easier to clean. And heating them, they seem to heat more evenly. I do have a few Dr. Brown bottles, but these seem to just heat more evenly. So I like them. They're kind of foolproof, and yeah, she's not gassy or anything, so why go fancy if you don't need to, I guess. So that's her 6-week update. Pregnancy 10-week update. I was really lucky. I had nausea for just like 4 days a couple weeks ago, probably around week 5, and that was it. So that was super, super lucky. I do get really nauseous and dizzy. Like this last Sunday, I was at church and I didn't eat breakfast fast enough, and so it happens the next day, and then I didn't really eat the rest of the day. I had a salad, and that was it, and some pretzels. So the next day I was super nauseous. But I find that, so it's just if I don't eat enough, and I find that if I eat oatmeal, especially on mornings where I'm starting to feel a little blah, after like an hour after I eat some oatmeal, I'm fine. So super lucky and blessed with that. And other changes, so my breasts have gotten huge, which I thought happened later, so I was a little disappointed. I had to go bra shopping. My jeans stopped fitting around week 5, and I do wear tighter jeans, I guess, so I mean, that was bound to happen. And I was wearing a hair tie, which was a little awkward because sometimes I wouldn't wear shirts that were long enough and people could tell. And then the hair tie stopped working, so my mom and I went and got some maternity jeans and a few t-shirts. And So I am overweight, and I was a little disappointed because I was looking online and like there are all these thinner women, and they were already showing at the same time as me, and you can't tell too much with me, at least the last couple weeks, and so like that was disappointing, but it's fine because I've lost 8 pounds, and my OB says it's fine to try to lose 10 to 15 pounds now in the first trimester. So I walk a lot, especially when the weather's nice. Not today because it's a blizzard, but and I'll put her in a wrap and I'll push the little boy I nanny, and then we'll go for like an hour and a half walk right in the city. So it's really nice to get out, and it's also good exercise because I don't like exercising. And I've lost 8 pounds since February. So that's really nice, and you can start to tell I'm getting thinner, and you can start to tell just that my stomach is rounding out a little. So when I do wear my pregnancy jeans and my pregnancy shirts, you can tell that my stomach it's smaller than before, and it's now round, which is nice. It just happened like this week, and it's really cute. It's nice. So I'm glad. Like nobody would know, but I've been kind of tracking it, and you can tell now, and a few other people who like know me have been able to tell that I've lost weight, and that you can kind of tell them rounding now instead of like whatever the bee belly is. I don't have that anymore, which is nice. Also, maternity pants, by the way, whether you're pregnant or not, most comfortable things in the world. Love them. I'm just gonna keep wearing them. So that's pretty sweet. And they come in skinny jeans, and they come in short, which is perfect because my legs are short. So anywho, so that's that. The only huge symptom that I had 2 symptoms that I had were, are you gonna get grumpy? Were extreme fatigue. I've always had anemia, and always been tired, and now I don't have anemia. My last blood work showed, which is weird, but in pregnancy I stopped having anemia. And you gonna say hi? Hi. Whoa, big one. Whoa, girl. Very ladylike. I stopped having anemia, and which is awesome. Whoa. And so I'm just fatigued, and part of it is her and the time change this last week. Part of it's just getting used to her schedule, and part of it is just the pregnancy. I was very fatigued, and between weeks like 6 or 5 and like 8, I had these like very vivid dreams. Like I'd like wake up and think something, whatever I was dreaming, I could remember the whole thing, and I had to calm myself down and remember. I also had some spotting and bleeding and severe cramping towards the beginning, and there was a day where I definitely thought I was having a miscarriage, and it turned out it was just because they'd done the ultrasound, and it had, I guess they say that you can rupture some vessels in your uterus, and so that's what had happened. So I was bleeding, I was very crampy, and they just had me take it easy, and we watched it, and they checked in on me. My OB checked in a couple times, and it ended up, I had an ultrasound a week later. That's why they had me do a second ultrasound so close together. Everything looked fine. I had a cyst, I still do, but that ended up being fine. So yeah, all in all, everything is great. Week 10, so I'm almost there. Almost everybody, all my friends are like, oh, second trimester is the easiest. So I'm very excited. 2 more weeks. Not that I've had like any first trimester to complain about, but very excited for second trimester and really actually showing, and just excited to see what that brings, and just having the baby on an ultrasound look more like a baby, especially for Brandon, because I can tell, but it's hard for him to tell. So that'll be fun for especially him. So I'll keep doing updates. Not sure how frequently, maybe every 2 weeks for a little while until things get more interesting. I don't know. We'll see what happens. She definitely gets very interesting, so maybe I'll do more for her and do my pregnancy ones more sporadic until things progress a little bit more. But anyway, glad to be back on YouTube and to share our little exciting Irish twin pregnancy adoption journey with you guys. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye.